Finance Club. We're going to be every Wednesday from 1 to 2, okay, right next door to 240, okay? Tell your friends, all right? I'm going to try to nail that down, and we're going to have 2 events this semester, probably more. During the Finance Club meetings, we're going to bring in employers for internships and jobs, okay? Training. I'm going to be training you also for the securities exam. Anybody interested in wealth management as a career? Got it. Do you know about this? The SIE, AXA Insurance Company, basically is sponsoring the training for the SIE, which is the first half of the Series 7 exam that you need to basically go become a wealth advisor. So as of October, anybody can take this, and I got a deal on this for 88 bucks through AXA and through the Securities Training Corporation, okay? And if you take this and pass this, you get hired, you sit for the 7, you sit for the Series 66, which is the investment advisor, and then you do the California state life-only insurance certification with a long-term care, continuing ed, and a variable annuity, and boom, you can sell and put together any solution with any product for any problem that anybody has in financial and investment advisory. Okay, and I can walk you through that stuff too. We're going to do 2 events in the Finance Club. We're going to do an alternative investments launch in a month from now. We're going to bring in FinTech. Has anybody ever heard of FinTech? FinTech, FinTech, finance tech. Finance and technology has converged. There are startup companies out there that are developing new technologies to basically revolutionize and disrupt the finance field. Okay, so we're going to bring in some of these tech companies to talk to us. We're also going to bring in an alternative renewable energy, which is another great place to go work in that space if you're into alternative renewable energy, which I have for at least the last 12 years. I've worked as a consultant in that space. The guy that I'm bringing in is not only an alternative renewable energy expert, but he also hired me to do a cryptocurrency solution. So if anybody's interested in cryptos, not as a career, but as just an asset class, we can talk about that too. And then I'm going to bring in my friend who heads an impact investment fund. Does anybody know what an impact investment fund is? No? No? Impact investment funds are basically institutions like endowments and pension funds that don't want to put their money in basically military corporations and fund the military industrial complex. So what they do is they basically channel their capital to invest in alternative renewable energy, maybe nonprofit technologies to allow for nonprofits to be able to deliver their services and outcomes more efficiently, maybe solar panels, miniature solar devices, or waste treatment or water treatment that can be sold in Africa to large populations of people living in abject poverty, those types of things, working with governments and developing new technologies. And you need money to fund those technologies. So we're going to do that too. And then the second one's going to be a real estate and a finance panel. I'll bring in a lot of my colleagues on the real estate side, and I'll cash in some chips on the banking, investment banking, private equity side to bring in those panelists, and those panelists become prospects for you for internships and jobs. Okay, and that's really the goal with the Finance Club. All right, so let's quickly, I'm going to kind of jump around on a bunch of stuff today. So why don't does everybody fill out the last portion of the worksheet that talks about the elevator pitch? Does anybody know what an elevator pitch is? Mm-hmm. What's an elevator pitch? Just yell it out.
It's like a short pitch that describes who you are and what you want.
Exactly. Who you are and what you want, and how long do those elevator pitches normally take?
30 seconds.
Yeah, at that, right? Because you never know who you're going to meet. And what I'm trying to do with this exercise right off the bat is to force you to identify a company. So you need to put in a specific company, and you need to put it in a specific position that you want because you can also always swap out the company and swap out the position depending on who you're talking to. So you can just boom, and then create opportunities for yourself. How do you get jobs? How do you get a job? Networking through people. So your elevator pitch becomes your #1 communication device that you're going to use right off the bat to be able to deliver to them very concise information and communication of what you want and what you want to do. And if they like you and they're interested in you, then they'll give you a little bit more time to talk to, okay? But usually they want the elevator pitch. And once you get the elevator pitch, you're going to use it all the time. And what you're going to find out is you're going to get what you want, because the majority of people are really helpful and really nice. And they may work for the company that you mentioned, or they may work in the same position that you want, or they may have gone to the same school that you went to, and maybe even the same program. So you basically have 4 touch points within that 30-second pitch to be able to communicate. And you never know, you may land something, and you may actually get the job. And that would be the worst thing that could happen to you, right, is getting the job you want. So why don't we go around really quickly and give me your elevator pitch. I'll give you mine really quickly if I was doing it. Hi, my name is Larry Souza. I attend St. Mary's College. I'm a business administrations major with a concentration in finance. I'm going to graduate in May 2019. I want to work for Goldman Sachs as an investment banking associate, something like that. So go ahead. And speak up loud and talk to these people, because these are going to be your network. And if they listen to what you're saying, they may hear of some opportunities in the future that meet your criteria, and they'll refer you over to the prospect.
Okay, I'm actually really unsure of where I want to.
No, just make it up.
Just make it up.
Make something up so that at least you're learning and programming the language in your brain, and then you can swap out the company and the position.
Can you give me like just a real estate company?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, hi, my name is Larry Souza. I attend St. Mary's College of California. I'm a business administration with a concentration in marketing. I want to work for C.B. Richard Ellis as a marketing associate.
So you just make up a random name?
Yeah, there's C.B. Richard Ellis, Cushman and Wakefield, Jones Lang LaSalle, and Marcus and Millichap are like the top 4 companies in the real estate space.
Okay.
And if you're really serious, I'll get you a job at Shorenstein, which is one of the top private equity real estate companies in San Francisco.
Okay, so my name is Giannina Favalora. I attend St. Mary's College. My major is business administration with a concentration in financial management. I plan to graduate in 2020. I want to be a broker working for a specific real estate company that I forgot the name of already.
Marcus and Millichap.
Huh?
Marcus and Millichap.
Marcus and Millichap?
Yeah.
Marcus and Millichap.
And I can totally coach you on that. I have a broker's license, and I've been in the industry for 25 years, so I can help you.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
you're welcome.
Hi, my name is Olivia Luna. I attend St. Mary's College of California with a major in business administration and a concentration of marketing. I plan to graduate in May 2020. I want to be a marketing manager working for Facebook.
Nice. Excellent.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Duran. I attend St. Mary's College, California. My major is business with a concentration in finance. I plan to graduate in May of 2020, and I want to be a wealth manager working for as a wealth manager.
Awesome.
My name is Hunter Peden. I attend St. Mary's College, California. I have a double major in accounting and business administration. I'm planning to graduate in May of 2019. I want to be a fund controller working for Standish Management.
That's fantastic.
Hi, my name is Clara Koski. I attend St. Mary's. My major is art and business with a concentration in marketing. I plan to graduate in May 2019. I want to be a social media manager in a local business.
Excellent. Congratulations.
My name is Nikki.
You have to speak up and talk to me.
My name is Nikki Alexander. I attend St. Mary's College. My major is business administration with a concentration in marketing. I plan to graduate in 2020, and I want to be on the marketing team for a sports brand.
Oh, come on.
Maybe Nike.
Maybe. No. Nike. Nike.
Nike.
Nike, okay? You'd have fun in Seattle.
My name is Jamie Campbell. I attend St. Mary's College of California. My major is business administration with a concentration in finance.
Don't you know one bank? Okay. Can you swap it out with Wells Fargo, US Bank, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan?
Goldman Sachs.
Why don't you try it again? I want to hear it. Because we're going to do Goldman Sachs at the end of the semester.
Okay. My name is Jamie Campbell. I attend St. Mary's College of California. My major is business administration with a concentration in finance. I plan to graduate in May 2020. I want to be a financial advisor working for Goldman Sachs.
Oh, that sounded just awesome, didn't it? Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to get you into Goldman Sachs too, and then within the first 3 to 5 years, if you have greater than a 3.6 in your program, you're going to ace the GMAT and you're going to go to Wharton, okay, or maybe Berkeley and get an MBA. Okay, go to an Ivy League, and then you'll move up and you'll start doing investment banking or private equity for them. Is that okay?
Sounds great.
Okay, what I handed out quickly, just so that you know before you get started, is I handed out some of the top resumes that I've collected over the last year, okay? So here are some samples, and they're also up on the website too. So these are the type of resumes that you want to emulate. If you don't have a resume, you got to get me your resume as soon as possible. Your resume needs to be submitted with the quiz package, the midterm package, and the final package. Once I get the resumes, I'm going to forward them on to Mary Beth Schatt, and then she's going to work with you basically to get your internships and your jobs, okay? But you need a resume, and it needs to be of this quality, so here's a good example, okay? Go ahead, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Hi, I'm Shelby Perez. I attend St. Mary's College. My major is business administration with a minor in East Asian studies. I plan to graduate in May of 2020, and I want to be a hotel manager at the Dusitani Spa and Resort at Ambon.
Oh, that's awesome. We'll come visit for like a week. That's great. Congratulations. And actually, Cornell has like one of the top programs in hotel management if you want to do that.
My name is Max Granger. I attend St. Mary's College. My major is business administration with concentrations in finance and data analytics. I plan to graduate in May of 2020, and I want to be a financial analyst for Cliff Bar.
Oh, that's awesome.
My name is Nick Russell. I attend St. Mary's. My major is business with a concentration in marketing. I plan to graduate in May 2020. I want to be a product marketing associate working for Cornerstone On Demand.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Hi, my name is Eric Chapman. I attend St. Mary's College. My major is business administration with a concentration in digital media and marketing. I plan to graduate in May of 2020, and I want to be a consultant working for CCS Fundraising.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Hi, my name is Annette Thompson. I attend St. Mary's College of California. I'm a double major in communication and business administration with a concentration in digital media. I plan to graduate in spring of 2019. I want to be a marketing coordinator working for Netflix.
Oh, that's great.
My name is Jason Mora. I attend St. Mary's College, California. My major is business administration. I plan to graduate in 2019, and I want to be portfolio manager for Charles Schwab.
Oh, that's awesome. I work for Schwab. I know the family. They barely work for any deals. But no, I have that connection. When you're ready.
Hi, my name is Megan Kay. I attend St. Mary's College. My major is business administration. I plan to graduate in May 2019, and I would like to be an agricultural financial planner working for Elders or a similar agricultural business.
Oh, that's awesome. David's a really good program. Yeah. And then ag. I don't really have much on the ag space. Maybe I have a friend of mine, she does the books for a lot of the large farmers down in Monterey County. Do you know about Monterey County? Monterey County, just Monterey County, the economic impact of the agricultural industry in just Monterey County is over $8 billion. It's 25% of the total state's output and economic impact just comes out of Monterey County, not even the bordering counties. So that's not a bad place to take a look at too.
My name is Dylan Linton. I attend St. Mary's. My major is business with a concentration in marketing. I plan to graduate in May 2019, and I want to be a marketing manager working for Nike.
Oh, that's great.
Green. I attend St. Mary's College. My major is accounting with a tentative concentration in auditing and forensic accounting. I plan to graduate in 2020, and of course, I want to be an accountant, working for most likely a credit union, I'd say.
Excellent. What, like a PwC, EY, is that what you said?
Sorry?
Moss Adams, did you mention an accounting firm?
Still sort of considering that, honestly.
Yeah, just throw one out. I mean, the Big Four is Big Four, so.
Maybe Moss Adams, like.
Okay, then Moss Adams.
Yeah,
Yeah, we place a lot of our students there. That's great. Go ahead.
My name is Felix Song. I attend St. Mary's College. My major is accounting, and I plan to graduate in May 2020. And I want to be a senior accountant at Ernst & Young.
That's fantastic. You know, one of my students I had from USF, she was an accounting major. She got a job at PricewaterhouseCoopers. They basically told her that you're going to be on a partner track, okay? And what we're going to do is you're going to have to apply to USC to get a master's degree in data analytics. And we basically put together the program with USC and PwC to basically put together a less than 1 year program in data analytics. And then what we're going to do is we're going to send you down to LA, and you're going to do the master's degree in data analytics, and then you're going to come back and head up basically some audit teams on a partner track. Is that pretty awesome? At like 20-something years old? Is that amazing? Yeah, that's freaking amazing. I was so happy for her. Okay, go ahead, sorry. You got me all excited.
My name is Joe Branish. I attend St. Mary's College. My major is accounting, and I plan to graduate in May 2020. And I would like to be an accountant working in the Big Four.
Where?
In the Big Four.
Can you pick one?
I don't know.
Okay, go ahead. The exercise is to pick a firm and then pick a position. So I'm forcing you to get outside of your comfort. Can you do it?
I don't know.
Okay, I'll PwC
Yeah.
and the audit system. Let's try it one more time.
My name is Joe Branish. I attend St. Mary's College. My major is accounting, and I plan to graduate in May 2020. I'd like to be an accountant working for PwC.
Maybe you want to practice because you're going to be you're going to go to meeting with firms, meet the firms, which is what we're working on right now. It's a big deal. They recruit from there. Okay, so be ready.
I will be.
Okay, great. Go ahead.
My name is Shakina Cynthia. I attend St. Mary's College. My major is business administration with a concentration in business analytics. I plan to graduate in May 2020. I want to be a private equity analyst and I'd like to work for green tech capital advisors.
That's awesome. Yeah. Do you already have a line?
A line?
I mean, do you already have a line in on that position?
No, I've heard about them, but I'm very.
Have you?
I don't know what they do.
Yeah, you probably need some coaching before you go into that, because the private equity guys are pretty tough. A lot of them come from investment banking. A lot of them have engineering degrees from like Ivy League schools. So we can get you in. We're gonna have to be like really prepared to do that. Okay. All right, go ahead.
My name is Mason Splinter. I attend St. Mary's College. My major is accounting. I plan to graduate in May 2020, and I want to be an analyst working for the IRS.
That's great. Actually, there's a position that's being posted right now through Mary Beth, through the IRS. So you might want to talk to her. Okay. I'm going to get you guys jobs, unless you're going country club, then I don't know. Maybe you're going country club, I don't know. But we will get you jobs, go ahead.
My name is Miguel Boat, and I attend St. Mary's College. My major is business administration with a concentration in data analytics. I plan to graduate in 2021. I want to be a business development analyst for Google.
For Google? That's great.
My name is Anthony Labowitz. I attend St. Mary's College. My major is business administration. I plan to graduate in May 2019. I want to be a sales and marketing manager for a Bay Area sports team, preferably the Warriors.
So you're going to be, what was the position?
Sales and marketing manager.
Sales and marketing manager for the Warriors. sales and marketing manager for the
Oh, yeah,
Warriors. Yeah, okay. You know, when you tell people that stuff, they perk up. They go, wow, really? Well, I know somebody over at the Warriors. Right? I know somebody at the A's. I know somebody at the Giants. You know, people at the Giants, do you think they know people at the A's and the Warriors? Do you think they all probably worked with each other? Yeah, exactly. It's all networking. Your network is your net worth. Okay? Your network is your net worth. Okay? The stronger your network, the stronger your net worth. You can always pick up the phone and call somebody. I need, and then they'll give it to you. Okay? Because you have a good relationship. Thank you.
My name is Michael Kosinski and I attend St. Mary's College. My major is business administration with a concentration in marketing. I plan to graduate in May 2020 and I want to be a marketing manager working for that.
Oh, that's awesome. That new campus, obviously. And speak up. Don't be shy. I want to be able to hear you. I'm all the way over here.
I don't know if I was going to say that. My name is Jamie Arias. I attend St. Mary's College. My major is business with concentration in finance. I plan to graduate in 2020. I want to be a financial advisor working for Chase.
Nice. I want to be a financial advisor at Chase. Yeah, we're working on that too. I made a call to somebody over there just the other day. See if I could get us in. Okay. Unless you can get us in. Do you have any connections over there? Yeah? Yeah. That's a start.
My name is Emma Session. I attend St. Mary's College. My major is business administration with a concentration in finance. I plan to graduate in 2020 and I want to be a financial advisor working for Wells Fargo.
Oh, that's awesome. I know some people over there too. All right, so you get it? It's the way it's gonna work. My job is to train you, okay? To train you to get jobs, okay? Not teach you so you can maybe get a job, but train you to get a job, a good job, okay? So it's training, okay? I wouldn't say I'm not an academic professor, okay? I'm a trainer, a corporate trainer, okay? That's my background. I basically build teams of high-performance individuals to drive them to do things that they otherwise could not even comprehend that they do, okay? But if we work in teams and we work together, we're gonna produce an awesome product this semester. And it's gonna distance you and put you in a position to be able to compete against the Ivy Leaguers, okay? Because we wanna beat Cal, and we wanna beat Stanford, right? And we wanna get the jobs with those people. We can do it if you know the language, if you take your academics seriously, and you know the language, and you can produce at their level. You can walk in with professional content and professional product and the knowledge to be able to communicate at the table with senior level executives that are making investment decisions and making business decisions. If you sit in the table, if you get invited to the table and you don't say anything and you don't contribute, there's not much value that you're really bringing. They'll give you a break, a little break, to try to groom you and see if they can coax the value out of you. But if you continue to be shy and don't interact and engage in the conversations, then you're not going to be invited back to the meeting, okay? And you want to be invited to all the meetings, okay? So I like to have an open environment where if I ask questions, the first thing you should do is go straight to the computer, find the data. You're the most powerful generation. You have cell phones, you have laptops, you have desktops, you got tablets, you have technology that enables you to be able to get information and data instantaneously so that we can use that information and data right there on the spot to basically come up with the solution and then walk out of the meeting and execute on it. It's not going to take us 2 days anymore to be able to figure out what we need to do to move forward decisively. You can now pull the data from the internet and extranets and internal databases and external resources and get the information that we need to be able to talk about the solutions and then move forward and do it within a couple of weeks. So everything's compressed, right? In the 90s, it maybe took us, 2 years to do something. Then it took us 2 months, and now we're doing stuff in 2 weeks and 2 days because we have all of this technology that has basically collapsed the process. And now you have been enabled to be able to make those types of decisions, okay? The other philosophy around my class, other than preparing you for the work world, is most that I found, and I think the academy is moving fairly slowly in this direction, is usually you have standard academic approaches to teaching. The most god-awful way is you have somebody like me get up in front of you for an hour and a half or 3 hours a week and basically just pontificate on content directly from the book and hope that you're going to absorb it some way or another. And then I'm going to give you some intermittent assessment tool or test to see if you comprehended or you did, studied for the exam the night before and then came in and either you passed it because you have really good retention or you go up in flames, and I basically just assess you based on maybe 2 or 3 assessments throughout the semester. That's dead. That's newt. That's gone. That's not the way you teach. Okay, that's not the way it's done. And in those types of environments, we basically all grade on this bell curve distribution, which is great, I guess. I never really believed in it. I thought it was kind of a funky thing. I did use it a lot when I was in my 30s teaching. I kind of threw out the model years ago because I thought it was wrong. Because it was pretty easy. I would give a test or tests, and then there were certain students that did really well, and those were my A students. And then I got some students that would be Bs, and then I got my C students. Okay? Then I started to get kind of concerned. And then I had some D students, and then I even had some F students, every now and then or occasionally. Now, to be able to, as a professor, to be able to teach and give assessment tests, and then at the end of the semester start assigning some kind of discrete measure of your total, intelligence based on one course and a few assessments is wrong, in my view. So what I do is I basically create a course of content development and team orientation, and you'll be breaking up into teams today, teams of 3, because you're going to be working with teams throughout the semester. So if you're antisocial in some way, and you don't like people, and you don't like to work in groups, you're going to have to work in a group, and you're going to have to become social, because it's the only way that you're going to work going forward, because that's all we do is work in teams now, okay? In high-performance, highly creative environments, we work in teams, dynamic teams, high-performance teams. So I put you into teams right off the bat, okay? And you're going to need to work into teams to work at the quality level and to be able to process the amount of content that we're going to go through this semester. So I'm going to cram a bunch into one finance class, but it's not a finance class. It's really a business class with a finance focus. This is basically your capstone course, midterm within your degree. A lot of the stuff you're going to learn here is basically used and you learn and you take in your last course within your last semester of your degree. I basically revamped the finance course and basically used the capstone and then said, okay, let's do it midterm. So that way it gives you a solid foundation to move into the last 2 years or last year of your program to then pop out into the career world on a very solid career trajectory so that you can leapfrog forward and really get some good momentum into your career. So this does not come, okay? So the A students in the class are really A+. And actually these people will be very helpful as trainers, and others to help the other team members within the teams that may be struggling with some of the concepts. They're going to be the charismatic leaders, and they're going to help us out a lot because we're all going to be working together, helping each other out. The B students, I don't know, maybe they went away for the weekend or something happened, and then they're really A students. So really the B students are the A students, so I'm not really worried about them. And then the C students, maybe they work full time or they're taking overload and they're working and they're doing sports and they got to take care of their family. They got other responsibilities. But really C students are A students too. It's just a matter of time management and prioritization and we help them, right, within a team environment to basically move the C students over to the A category. The D students and the F students, from my experience over the years, it's not because they don't have the intellectual capacity or the capabilities to be A students. It might be they're just hostile to authority figures like myself. They may have learning disabilities. They may have had family issues. you know, some students lose family members and that's tough. Maybe they have to work full-time, they're overloaded, there's just a lot of stuff that they're doing. If you are in this category, you do have some type of behavior or learning issue, you need to communicate that to me so that I can help you. And then either I will give you the resources through my own personal experience, or I will find you resources to help you remediate any of the issues that you may be dealing with. Okay, so we can resolve them. So again, the F's and the D's, everybody gets pulled over. So really, this is the way my distribution looks like. And if you attend the class, get contact information for everybody, so if you do miss any of the classes, you can contact people that are in the class and people that are in your team so that you can get updated on what went on during the class, and you watch the videos, okay, because I'm going to record every single lecture, and I'm going to post them on the internet, and I'm going to deliver them to you via email after every class, or at least at the end of the week, so that you can review the content if you missed anything, because I talk really fast. People don't get everything that I talk about. And then if you miss a class for some reason, you can review the video, and if you're not going to be there the days that we're going over, basically the content for the exams, you can go back and look at the video, and you can review the video. That will basically be reinforcement to improve your ability to be able to ace the exam. Okay? So those are some of the resources that I put together. So what I do on this is I basically change the distribution. Okay? It's an elliptokurtic distribution with a very fat tail on the B side, and then it's skewed, the grade distribution is skewed to the right to the A category. So if you trust me and believe in my methodology, you're going to do great in the class. If you're skeptical, or because this is totally new, because you're used to more of a Socratic, mechanistic approach over the last 16 years, because you've been taught a certain way for 16 years, now you're in a junior, now you're getting to be a senior. It's a dynamic work environment out there, and I'm trying to replicate the work environment within the classroom and have the same stresses and the same dynamics. Okay, so this is go time. All right, so I handed out the, you have the, the resumes, and could you hand up the surveys for me, please? Then what you want to do is pull out your syllabus for me, so we can go through that. If I talk too fast, you need to slow me down and stop me, and then ask me questions. Okay. You need to get over your shyness, if you are shy, and start to you don't need to raise your hands. You can just speak up. You can interrupt me at any time, and then just get it out there and start practicing that environment, because that's the way we work in the real world. Did everybody hand these in?
There's some over there.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. And if you are interested in working with me on the Finance Club, you can talk to me, and we're going to have a meeting tomorrow at 2:40 between 1 and 2 every Wednesday. Okay. So let's go through the syllabus, and would you please, every time you come into class, you need to load up your computer. Okay. You need to have your cell phone ready. Thank you. Your tablet ready and your computer ready, okay, to start looking for information. And I'll go over that in a minute. You need to pull up the course website, because that's where the majority of the resources that are available to you are basically going to be loaded. So I'm going to be communicating with you all the time, okay, either emails or announcements. I may call you. You should, if you want to get a hold of me and you want to talk to me, if you have any issues or you just want to say hi, you can call me, and I'll call you right back. If you want. If you text me, I'll get right back to you. If you email me, it might take me a little bit of time to get back to you, because I have ADD and I see stuff that I got to do, and I'll go work on it. It's like, oh, I forgot to get back to that person. But if you call me and text me, I'll get right back to you. Okay? So does everybody have the course website up, and you have your syllabus handy? Okay. So before we do this, we need to break up into teams of 3. So, and then what you need to do is you need to identify who your leader is of the team, because the leader is going to introduce you. So we should have roughly 30 people in the class, so we should have about 10 groups. So why don't you break up into teams of 3? I'll give you a few minutes, And also, while you're breaking up and doing the team stuff, you should all be exchanging contact information, so there's no reason, for any reason, why you're not talking to each other, or if you miss anything or you don't understand anything, you have contacts within the class to be able to utilize. Okay, go. There's no such thing as teams of one. You have the data analytics. Here, I have some data analytics.
What? Forget it. Yeah.
This is part
Oh,
of their-
don't worry. 451. Okay. 6123.
Start, are you guys changing phone numbers? You can't have teams of four, you gotta have teams of three. Are you in a team?
No, I'm not.
Okay, who's got, there's teams three, okay, you're in with him. There's teams three, you got your three? Yeah. Okay, you guys got your three? Yeah, you're with him. Yep. And if somebody else shows up, and I'll help you guys out too, so you're not all by yourself. Oh, really? Okay, any teams of two? Any teams of two? Okay, hold on. Oh, he is, well, oh, you should go sit with them. Oh, were you? Okay, cool. Okay, cool, thanks. Hold on, we'll get you a team. You got teams of two?
No, we're three.
Okay, hold on. Any teams of four? Any teams of two? Okay, anybody else in the class that we know of that's not here? Okay, why don't you join their group for now?
He's great.
Is that okay? Or do you have anybody else that you'd like to?
No, that's fine.
Okay, cool. All right. You can shop teams now.
Oh, yeah.
You can shop the teams. All right. So everybody's got, and then who's the leader of the teams? Leader, 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 leader. Okay, do you guys have a leader? Do you guys have a leader? Leader? Perfect. And then leader? Leader? Gotta have a leader. Leader, leader, perfect, leader, perfect, leader, perfect, awesome, okay. All right, so, okay, so we're done with that exercise, okay. Storming, forming, right? Storming, forming. So you gotta get into high performance teams to be able to move forward. You're gonna, hold on you guys, okay. You're gonna use the teams to leverage, all right? The teams, how many teams do we have? Can you count off? Okay, hold on you guys, we're working here. We're working, okay? Okay, hold on. Okay, go. So count off. Teams count off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. Okay, awesome. So if you go, we're not going to do this right now, but in the syllabus, basically the PowerPoint presentations for the chapters along with the homeworks are assigned by team. Okay, so you will be making the presentation for that chapter with those homeworks. Okay, just for that chapter, and you'll do that twice during the. Are you following me? Okay, you're going to do it twice during the semester. Okay. So people, who's got chapter, I'm going to do chapter 1 on Thursday. So chapter 2 is going to be done by team 1 and chapter 3 is going to be done by team 2. Okay? And you only have to worry about the homeworks for that chapter. Okay? But everybody's got to come to class and write down the homework solutions that the student teams went over, because you're going to have to hand in all of those homeworks as part of your deliverable package for the quiz and the midterm, okay? So what we're doing is we're distributing the homework assignments. So if you come to class and you take notes, boom, you're done. If you don't, then you're gonna have to go back, you're gonna have to go do it on your own. So I'm trying to distribute the homework assignments and distribute the course content to make it a flipped class and an active learning class. Unless you want me to get up here for 3 hours a week and drone through the PowerPoint presentations and bore you to death and go back to the bell curve distribution. No. Okay, perfect. Excellent. All right, so before we get through the course website and go through the syllabus in detail, here's the book. Okay, this is the Perino book. Now here's the strategy around the Perino book, or here's the strategy around books, period. Books are expensive, right? This one's not as expensive as most books, but this is the Perino book. Here's my strategy for books, okay? You can do an ebook. You should do an ebook and a Wiley Plus, okay? And then you split the cost between your team. Or you do the loose leaf with the holes in it, you do a binder with the Wiley Plus, and you split the costs. Or you say, screw it, I want to be on my own. I'm going to do my own Wiley Plus, and I'm going to do the hardbound, and I'm going to do the most expensive option. Okay? You can do that too. So I'm not assigning the book. You go get the book. Okay? I would do the Wiley Plus in the team too, and give access to your team members so that you have it. I picked this book. I haven't updated the book for a while, for at least a couple of years, almost 3 years. This is the first time I've updated the book. Because what they did was they integrated in the Wiley Plus. Okay, and this is totally awesome technology. Because now, because my students used to say, Professor Susie, you talk too fast. I didn't get a lot of everything. I don't take notes. I don't remember anything, and I can't remember. So that's why I started videotaping everything. So here on the Wiley Plus, these are basically really the 3 areas, maybe the 4. If you want to do your homework problems in Excel, that's freaking awesome. Show us how to solve stuff in Excel. If you don't know how to do it in Excel, they have some Excel videos that will walk you through, and hopefully some of your homework assignments are already done in Excel, so you can walk us through that too. And all the Excel templates are already available on the course website. And the homework solutions are up there too, so you can check your answers. There's no tricks to this class. I'm giving you all the resources you need to basically learn the material. You get frustrated, I give you total resources. You still frustrated, you can come see me. But I'm giving you all the resources you need to be able to get through and assimilate massive amounts of information very quickly. So when you walk out of here, you're totally empowered with the technology of finance. There's solution videos also for the problems. And then there's narrated PowerPoints. So if you're going to do a PowerPoint presentation on Thursday, chapter 2 and 3, I'd probably go watch the narrated PowerPoint presentations. They're not that long. And that'll allow you to kind of focus and model how they presented the chapter, and you come in and you present the chapter to us, and then you walk us through the homework solutions. Solutions probably are available here. You probably have some solutions here through the Excel, and I provided the solutions on the website. So you have and then you can even come see me if you're still stuck. So there's no reason why you can't work through the homework problems and the solutions unless you're totally phobic about math. But math is something that you're going to need to love, okay, and become good at it. I was bad at it. I didn't like it, but I ended up overcoming it because I saw the power of it, and I needed to be good at that too, okay? So you just overcome it. So this is a great resource. This is a great book too. And people will recognize the Perino book, okay? So they'll ask you what major you did or what concentration, if you did finance, and what book did you use, and you say Perino, well, no, that's a really good book. So it's a really good book. And now with this technology tool, it's even better for you. So I'm giving you plenty of support. Any questions on that? All right. So here's I'm going to do the syllabus, and I'm going to do the course website at the same time. And who's got the time? Somebody needs to time me, because I want to make sure I don't run out of time. And how much time do I have?
45 minutes.
Perfect. So here's I'll send out stuff through the announcements. Here's your Wiley Plus. Who knew it? Does anybody know who knew it? Who knew it? Okay, I'm looking at all the jobs these days. Marketing, you name it. Finance, analyst, economist, anything. Do you know CRM? Do you know Salesforce? Do you know R? Do you know Python? Do you know SQL? Do you know Excel? I mean, all that stuff's listed on there. Well, St. Mary's, along with some other universities, St. Mary's uses Who Knew It, and basically Who Knew It is basically a portal to allow you to basically train yourself through videos in SQL and R and Python and Excel. And I was doing SPSS the other day because I'm doing some stepwise regression techniques for some of my research. And they have a whole video. You can even get certification. So on your resume, you can say certified Excel, certified Excel, certified R, certified Python, certified SQL. So you can put those in there. So I'm not sure why it's not coming up, but I put that on the in the course because I think it's really important that you guys have access to these technologies. So here it is. I was doing SPSS. Okay. So you may want to look at that. Oh, here we go. All right. So there's that. I don't use the news form. Okay. Here are the course logs. So every single class will be. I will send it to you via email, okay, and then I will post it to the course log. Okay, and if you're interested in other videos and want to take a look at my teaching techniques and stuff like that, here are the course logs from the last year. Okay, so you have those there too. Okay, so that's where I'll post the course logs for the class, and it'll be running. I'll have it run, so it'll just be all chronological on this page. And then the next is, here's the syllabus, we got that, boom. Statistical pretest, I already passed that out to you, okay? Statistical pretest, right here, all right? When's the statistical pretest? The 6th. Yes, I'm giving you some time. Why would I give you a statistical pretest? Why would I give you a statistical pretest?
Because we want to understand what we know ahead of time.
Exactly, totally. So that you'll basically know the stuff ahead of time. So that when you get to it in the book or you get to it on the assignment, it's not the first time you've seen it, it's the second time or maybe the third time you've seen it. So finance, just like any other content that you're learning, you don't learn it first time that you see it unless you have a photographic memory and you're totally brilliant. And if you did, you'd be going to MIT. Okay, you wouldn't be going to St. Mary's. So for people like me, I got to go through stuff over and over and over again until it embeds in my brain and I never forget it. Okay, so the statistical pretest is basically a lot of the important content that you've already learned in your statistics course that's also going to be presented in the book, but I want to make sure that you've learned it and been exposed to it up front first so that when we get to it, later on in the book, you'll know exactly what it is. Plus, I speak in very technical language so that when I'm talking about covariances and correlations and standard deviations and variances and those things, you know exactly what they are. So by next Thursday, you will totally know what they are. And hopefully you will memorize the mathematical equations in your brain because that's basically your own machine learning. So in the statistical pretest, I'm going to talk about the law of large numbers. So why is it important to know about the law of large numbers? Do we use data? Do we use data these days? Yeah, we use a lot of data. What's the assumption around the data when we have large data sets? What's the assumption about the distribution of the data set?
That it's accurate, not skewed.
It's not skewed, so it's what? It's normally distributed, right? So we deal with large data sets. We try to get to a large data set of normalized data that's normally distributed, and if it's skewed, we have to correct for it to get it normally distributed, so then we can apply the statistical applications to get the information to make decisive business decisions and know that the decisions that we're making are correct, okay? So the law of large numbers is huge. You gotta be able to calculate the arithmetic mean and the geometric mean. The problem with the arithmetic means is they're influenced by outliers, okay? And geometrics basically help control for that. Then on page 3, you got the normal distribution and all the other distributions. So the first thing you do is you do the data analysis and you look at the distributions. If the distributions are whacked out, you got to correct for them and clean them up to get them normally distributed so you can apply the statistics to be able to get the information to make the decisions. So these are the different distributions that you may run into. You need to understand median, mode, which is a central tendency, mode most occurring, a median, midpoint, and then the mean, the average, okay? And then you have skewness, kurtosis, and leptokurtic. That's a leptokurtic distribution over there. Fat tail with a skewed distribution. Actually, leptokurtic distributions are extremely important now because they're also called black swan events in finance and economics, because that's what the financial crisis was, okay? So it whacked out the normal distributions in the last financial crisis. Histogram, stem, leaf, box plots, that's what you use for data analysis. Variance, standard deviation. When you hear variance and you hear standard deviation, the first thing that pops into your brain is volatility, risk, okay? You see standard deviation, you see variance, volatility, and risk, okay? Confidence intervals will help you. Confidence levels when you're running the regressions. 99, 95, and 90. 99 is the most restrictive. That's what you use in biological sciences when you have thousands of data points. In social sciences, we usually don't have thousands of data points. We usually have hundreds, you know, or maybe 20 or 50. So we have to usually set the confidence level at 90. But if I'm doing scientific stuff, I'm usually using 95 or 99. And if you go into banking or data analytics, where you have huge data sets, thousands of observations, you'll probably be using a 99 or 95. The coefficient of variation is just the expected return divided by the it's the standard deviation divided by the expected return is the coefficient of variation. When you flip it, the expected return divided by the standard deviation is the risk-adjusted rate of return, okay? And then we'll talk about Sharpe ratios and other ratios, but that's really my investment classes. So we talk about coefficient of variation, risk-adjusted rates of return, covariance, okay, covariance. Do the returns between the two stocks co-vary with each other? If they're co-varying with each other, then I'm not getting diversification because the volatility in their movement is the same. I get no, they're highly positively correlated with each other. The covariances move together. I'm not getting diversification. If I can put stocks or bonds or other asset classes with returns that have low covariance with each other and they're not correlated with each other, I'm getting diversification. And that's the number one goal and objective. On page 7, portfolio standard deviation, portfolio standard deviation, portfolio standard deviation, not standard deviation, portfolio standard deviation, okay? It's the standard deviation for the portfolio. So you have to calculate it two ways, one with the covariance on the end, one with the correlation. The guy who invented portfolio standard deviation, covariance, optimization, I got a call from Harry Markowitz's office today from the University of San Diego. He invented modern portfolio theory. I sent him my doctoral dissertation. He wants to have lunch with me, okay? So this is the access that you have if you understand this information, okay? So you got to give me those two. The next one is the regression equation, okay? Why is it important to study and understand regression modeling, and particularly the construction of forecast models? Why is it important? Is it not important? I'm bringing it up and it's just worthless. It's just nothing. I should just cross that out. Should I take the black marker to that and just get it out of there? Why is it important to understand regression?
Regression can help you forecast what potential investment might make.
You got it, right? So can you predict the future if you can utilize regression equations that are highly predictive? Can you forecast the future?
You can forecast that.
Yeah, and if you can forecast the future, is that going to mitigate losses, create wins, and basically give you some upward mobility? Because everybody's going to ask you questions like, what do you think? Where's it going to go? Is it going to go up or down? Oh, could you do me a favor? Could you build us a forecast model for the amount of sales that we're going to have per quarter over the next 4 quarters? Do you think they're gonna, how many people do you think that we're gonna need to hire over the next 6 months to a year based on our projections of sales volume that you're gonna build, both the forecast models using regression? Do you think you're gonna be asked to build those models? Yes, you are gonna be asked to build models, okay? And regression is the #1 tool in technology to be able to create forecasts, to be able to accurately predict the future, okay? So I'd like you to put right there the regression equation, okay? Y hat equals alpha plus beta hat x1 beta 1 plus beta hat 2 times x2 plus beta hat 3 times x3 plus error term hat. Hats are estimates, okay? And then you're going to do either cross-sectional regression, which is one period of time over multiple observations, or you're going to do time series regression, where you're going to have basically one company, multiple factors within the model over time. And sometimes when you're doing startup company consulting, they don't have historical data going back 5 to 6 years. So you got to use cross-sectional regression of similar firms of your size within the same industry to get the coefficients to then use on a time series basis, okay? So I'm giving you in this part of the statistical pretest is the stuff you're not going to learn in your stats course. You will have had to have been out in the real world doing this stuff to be able to understand that this is the stuff that's really important, okay? And that's what I'm giving you. Dependent and independent variables, how do you determine them? Well, your hiring manager and your boss is going to tell you we need to forecast sales. Boom, you know the dependent variable. How do you know what independent variables to use in the model? Where do you go to get the independent variables? Where do you go find the independent variables? Where would you go find independent variables? Your boss asks you to forecast sales over the next 4 quarters. We know what the dependent is. Where do you get the independent variables? Where would you get them? Where would you go find them? Where would you go? Go nowhere? You're fired. You're not going to get the assignment, okay? Where would you get the independent variables? Come on, brainstorm.
Would it be your sales data?
Probably look at other factors that are correlated to the sales data internally, right? Right? And would I talk to other managers in the firm and ask them what variables should be in the model? Yep. And would I do anything else? What else could I do to go find the variables to build a model that's highly accurate? Where else would I go?
You can ask your manager or somebody on your team.
Yeah, you ask the managers first, you ask him first, you ask the other managers too, and then what's the last place that you would go look to find it, to find the information? Do you think other people have done it before? Do you think academics have done it before? Trying to forecast semiconductor sales for basically small cap startup companies within the hardware space. Do you think the academics have done that? And then done the research, run the regressions, and basically publish the results of those research in peer-reviewed journal articles? Do you think they've done that? Yeah, that's your external validity. I've been asked that multiple times within my career to go build models. What do? How do I build the model? Ask the person first. Ask the expert teams around me what should be in the model, and then I go to the library and I basically do the literature review through EBSCO and ProQuest and all those, and find the academic journals and basically build the models off of that. How do you select and determine the variables? I just talked about that. I would be writing these down if I were you. I'm going over it right now. The statistical tests, the T and the F statistic, multicollinearity, you're going to run into problems because your variables are highly related to each other, so you got to get rid of one. What variable would you keep in the model? I got 2 variables that are highly correlated to each other. Which one would I keep in the model? The one with the highest T statistic or the one that's cited the most in the literature? Test question. Got 2 variables highly correlated to each other, highly correlated to the dependent variable. Which one do I keep? Which one do I throw out? the one with the highest t statistic in R squared with the dependent variable, or the one cited the most in the literature.
That's T.
Got it? Anybody else? Okay, I got 30 managers here. I got 30 brainstorming people here, and I got one comment. And basically the question had two parts. So if you say nothing, you're 100% wrong. If you say any one of the two, you're 50% right. So you have a 50% probability of being right. If you say something, you have a 100% probability of being wrong by saying nothing. They would rather have you say something and be wrong than to say nothing. Okay. So what is it? Highest T or cited in the literature? We're burning time. No. It's the one cited most in the literature. Okay, because that variable has been proven over and over and over and over again with different data samples over different time periods, and it always comes up. So it may not be as strong as the other, but it's cited the most. That's the one you keep in. Okay? All right. And then unsystematic risk and systematic risk. Systematic risk, you cannot diversify away. Can you diversify away trade wars? Can you diversify trade wars away? If you're a manager at Google, can I diversify away or manage the systematic risk of trade wars? Can I? Or is it basically a systematic risk that I have to absorb? Do I have influence over trade policy between Mexico, Canada, and the United States? No, so that's systematic risk. What about market risk? Your stock trades on the stock exchange. The stock exchange goes down 500 or 1,000 points in one day. Is your stock going to go down? Yep. Can you stop it? Nope, that's systematic risk. What about if we go into a recession? Can you stop the economy from going into a recession? Nope, systematic risk. Political risk, economic risk, systemic risk, market risk, can't do it. And then unsystematic risk, I can diversify that away. I can basically create a company with multiple lines of business whose cash flows are uncorrelated with each other. And I can diversify the cash flows across the different product lines within the company based on the market mix. I can also create a portfolio of stocks and bonds or real estate whose returns, the assets' returns, are uncorrelated with each other. So I can put them all together into a portfolio, and because the returns are uncorrelated, I'm going to get diversification, and I'm going to eliminate the unsystematic risk. Okay? And then you need to graph it. And then lastly, you're going to need to show me a balance sheet, an income statement, a cash flow statement, and then the key financial ratios such as ROE, ROA, return on equity, return on assets, debt to total market cap, debt to equity, those are all the leverage ratios, earnings per share, price to earnings multiple, capital asset pricing model, weighted average cost of capital, and then show me the theoretical models for the perpetuity, Gordon growth, multiple approach, and the discounted cash flow. If you can do that, we've basically set the foundation for you to move forward more decisively in the class. Okay? And then you memorize these things. Okay? How am I doing on time? Huh?
25 minutes.
Okay. So we did the statistical pre-test. Got it. Did the surveys. You're also, I want to get to this in a minute, you're also going to be doing memos in the class. Okay? You're going to be doing 5 memos. And I basically put 11 sets of 5 memos on the course website for you to use as a template. I also gave you a couple samples of memos that you're going to be doing in these class. These memos, each one of these memos for my top students, I went through with them at least 5 to 10 times. These are all perfectly written memos. These have been approved by me and then submitted. These are your writing samples. These are your executive level memos that basically the prospective employers are looking for these days. Can you write executive level memo briefs? Okay, and I'm going to go over the methodology. And I also have on the course website, there's templates, there's videos with the I got the memos, videos. I'm going to do a video. I'm going to do a lecture on the memos. In the memos, these are perfectly formatted. Okay, they gotta look, your memo's gotta look exactly like this. Okay, and you're gonna do 5 of them. You're gonna do stocks, you're gonna do oil, gold, bonds, and the US dollar or foreign currency. Every day when you walk into the class, particularly on Thursdays, you're gonna go straight to the computer, you're gonna load up the computer, and you're gonna go to Yahoo Finance. Okay, and you're gonna get, did I show you Yahoo Finance? Yeah, no? You're gonna go to Yahoo Finance. Okay, you go to Yahoo, see if you can get past the home page and go right to the finance page. Okay, so go to the finance page. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, been around 160, 170 years. That's the one I like the most. So I'm gonna ask you, where's the Dow today? Is it up or down? Why? What are the factors that are driving the stock market up or down? Is it interest rates go down? Is it because of the resolution of the trade situation with Mexico is giving more certainty? Is the probability of impeachment by the president lower now, which is basically causing some euphoria in the stock market and driving people into the stock market? What about, what else? So the Dow, definitely click on that little button right there. There's your crude oil. Crude oil is trading at $68, almost $69 a barrel. Last summer it was about 38. So the price of a barrel of oil is up about 50% over the last year, which is the reason why you're paying basically $4.99 of Supreme and Chevron for your Audi. Okay, so the prices of gas prices have gone up significantly over the last year. Okay, so we want to know where gold is, because gold is the #1 industrial input and personal consumption input into the budgets of most corporations for production and for consumption. So you need to know about oil, and it's geopolitical. Gold is a commodity that tracks inflation. Gold's been basically flatlined for about a year. We can make money off trading gold, but again, it really hasn't moved. So we need to be monitoring gold, because central banks, the top 5 central banks and treasuries around the globe, basically hold gold as a store of wealth to basically anchor their currencies from devaluation through hyperinflation in most cases. So gold is extremely important too, and it's an input into the production process, and it's used as a store of wealth for investment purposes for individuals and cultures across the globe, particularly in India and China. They store and they hoard a lot of gold, and it's used as dowries in their cultures. I don't monitor silver because gold and silver are highly correlated, and then you got the dollar. How you look at the dollar to the euro, dollar to the pound, you get to look at the dollar to the peso, dollar to the yen, dollar to the ruble, whatever you want to use. But if it's the dollar to some currency, if the dollar is appreciating, then the exchange rate is going up and down. So it's positively correlated with each other. And currencies are fluctuating. They go up and down by geopolitical and political and economic and inflation and interest rate differentials across countries. So we got to be looking at exchange rate differentials, because now we're in a global society and everybody's impacted by globalization in particular. Okay. Then what you're going to do is you're going to forecast where the asset class is going to go up or down over the next 3 months based on what economic factors, and I will train you on the supply-demand analysis to basically give you the underlying foundation, theoretical foundations you need to forecast where these asset classes are going, and then place the appropriate derivative trades, either to hedge off the risk or to gain exposure to that asset class to profit through these derivative trades. Derivatives is probably the most revolutionary technology tool invented in finance over 30 years ago, and is used as a permanent component of all major corporate capital structures and used in all aspects of investment and in risk management globally. So it's a standardized tool, okay? And I bring that forward because I'm not going to wait to get to it in chapter 22, because you'll blow it off and you won't even learn it. So we're going to start it early in the semester, just the mechanics, okay? And then you have your data that basically supports the factors, that supports the forecast, that supports the trades. Then you have graphs, you know, of the stocks or the exchange traded funds or the individual stocks or the indexes. You got the graphs for technical analysis, and then basically the last paragraph is the first paragraph, and the only thing that changes is the semicolon turns to a period, and the above, and the following turns to above. So once you get one template down, then you just replicate it for the different asset classes, and use Yahoo Finance, big charts, stock charts, The Economist, Financial Times, Wall Street Journal, to go find the information to support your forecasts, the factors, and the trades. Okay? And then you can use these as the writing samples to give it to the potential employers. And I got students of mine that are using the memos and they're using the Excel spreadsheets, and they're getting jobs because they can show them the printouts from this stuff. Okay. I also, how much time do I have?
20 minutes.
Perfect. Yeah, keep me on track, okay? So what I also did, and I'll go back to this in a second, what I also did, and I believe in full disclosure, no tricks, no gimmicks. I don't know about other professors you've had, but I just want you to learn the content. So I'm not tricking you into learning the content and then trying to catch you to see if you missed it and got a mistake so I can ding you. That's stupid. I'm going to give you the exam. Okay, so here's the midterm exam. Okay, with the blue books. So what you want to do is you want to take the midterm exam, the quiz. You want to take the quiz and you want to stick it in the blue book like this. Okay? So if you can pass those around. And you want to stick it in the blue book like this. And then on the front of the blue book, you're going to write quiz in class notes. Quiz in class notes. And what you're going to do is you're going to basically write, you can write your notes, your class notes, and then fold them up and stick them in this booklet. And then you're going to use the booklet as I go through the exam. You're going to write the solutions of the exam in the booklet and use the booklet as a study guide. As a study guide. Then you're going to come in the week of the exam, the quiz and the midterm. You're going to walk into class. You're probably still studying, your stuff. You're going to sit down. You're going to put this on the floor, okay, or put it in with the deliverable package. I'm going to give you a new blue book and a new exam. I'm going to give it to you, and I'm going to say, go, do the exam. And then you're going to work on the exam for an hour and a half on Tuesday, okay? And you're going to give me the exam back, all right? And then you have your exam that you're going to go study Tuesday night, all day Wednesday, and then you're going to pull an all-nighter, right? All-nighter, come back on Thursday morning, come in, remediate any of the problems that needed more attention. You're going to finish the exam, and you're going to give me the exam, and it should be perfect, or as close to perfect. If you don't do well on the exam, I will give that back the exam to you, and you'll have to go back and correct the exam, okay? Because I want you to learn the material, okay? So it's an iterative process. But most of my students, I would say about 25%, if they follow this methodology, they can get the exam done on Tuesday, okay? Others need a little bit more help. So that's where Tuesday night and Wednesday, and maybe Thursday morning come in. And then they come in and they finish the exam and they correct the rest of it. And then they insert, the exam, the practice exam with the notes into the deliverable package, and then deliver me the deliverable package that then I will collect, and then I will go grade, and I will have those back to you by the following Tuesday. Okay? And if you have remediation, you got issues, you're not in town, you communicate with me, you talk to me, and we get it done. Okay? So I care about learning the material more than trying to assess you so I can ding you to throw you into some C, D, or F category. That's baloney. Okay? It's learning the material. So I will teach you the high level application of the financial economics and the applications, and then you and I will work together on the book and the problems. Okay? And we'll do it two-tiered, bottom up and top down. So it's a two-level approach. Okay? Yes, sir.
Do you have any more midterm exams?
That's the quiz, sorry. It's quiz. Anybody, did you guys pass around the quiz?
Here's some more.
there's some extras over here. Here you go. All right. So how much time do I have?
15 minutes.
15?
15.
15? Oh, cool. We're a little ahead of schedule. We'll get out of here like 5 minutes early. So here's the syllabus. If you want to take another look at it, let's walk through it. So I got and again, it's posted on there in Word, so you can just click on the links and stuff. So there's the Wiley and for the Perino. If you want to go to Amazon, if you guys figure out how you want to get it. The calculator is the Texas Instrument. Did I already talk about this? Nope. Texas Instrument is what I highly recommend. It's the one that goes with the book. You can also use the HP, but I decided not to use the HP because the book uses the TI Business Plus. It's $40. Okay. What you need to do is you need to bring your calculator to class every class. Okay. Little advice: when you walk into a meeting, I always get there early. Sit down, got my notebook, got my laptop, got my cell phone, got my tablet, got my coffee, and I got my calculator. And I'm ready to go. I got all my technology ready. If I'm doing a presentation, I got to get there at least an hour early to test the technology to make sure that it works, and then continue to test it up until the presentation, because sometimes your technology blows up. And you better have hard copies of stuff sometime to give out, because sometimes the power goes out or the technology blows up and you're sitting there dead in the water. So you got to have some contingencies. But the calculator you need to bring to every class. And I do have the calculator manuals printed out, also available on the website. So I got the manuals there too. I already downloaded them from the website. So the PDF download of the calculators are there for you. If you want to read my background, here it is. I would link to me through LinkedIn. I probably have about 7,000 contacts in my LinkedIn, maybe more. So that's pretty good that you can use. Page 2, I got all the dates, exam dates, holidays, got all that stuff, my office hours. I will be in my office between mainly 7 to 9 every morning, but let me know. I will definitely be in my office from 1:30 to 3:30 every day. May stay a little bit later if you want me to 4:30. Again, if you text me, call me, we can set up an appointment. I'm always available. I'm always available for you. You don't need to cheat in this class, really, right? I'm giving you all the solutions. I give you the exam. I just need to train you. You're working in teams. You got the solutions up on Wiley Plus. There's no reason to cheat, right? And if you don't study and you still have a problem, I don't care. Come in, do the best you can, go study, come back, take it again, learn the material. Okay, that's all I care about, is learning the material. Prerequisites, on the back of your statistical pretest, you need to give me the grades from your prerequisites so I can see how you did. If you have a problem with some of the prerequisites within the class you don't remember for some reason or another, macroeconomics or microeconomics, or there is on the website. Oh, here we go. Review courses, stats, finance, accounting, economics, econometrics. It's all there. YouTube, Khan Academy, those are all available to you. To do the statistical pretest, you go to Wiley Plus. Here are some resources for you right here that you can use for pretest. You can also, what I did on the website is underneath the pretest here. There's your calculators right here. But right here, supplemental materials for completing the statistical pretest. I always get calls at some point when the pretest is coming due. Professor Souza, I don't know where to get the information for the pretest. I don't know where to get the information. Well, one, there's Google. Two, I basically put the statistical pretest material already up on the website and went over it in class. So you have that. And then you might still have your statistics book, you know, laying around from your quant class. So you have it there. And then if you're working in teams together on it, it goes pretty quickly. So there's really no reason, you know, why you can't do a really good job of filling out the pretest. And the pretest is awesome because it's your foundational work. So there's prereqs, understanding the honor code. So by accepting the syllabus, you basically are now bound by the code of honor that you will not cheat. That you don't. There's no incentive in this class. I take it away. You work in teams. You do beautiful product, and you work together, and you study, and then you come, and I give you more time to study. And if you still blow it, I still give you more time to study, because I want you to learn the material to go forward. Okay. All the other stuff is blah, blah, blah. I would actually read the syllabus. This is basically, you know, 25 years of work experience and 25 years of academic experience. Undergrads in econ, master's degree, econ, finance, doctorate degree, econ, finance, all that stuff. So I synthesized basically what you need to know to take away from this course as though you were taking doing a graduate degree in MS and finance at some school. So I would read this, and this will give you the insights of how senior level executives think and talk. So I would read it, okay? I spent a lot of time writing it. And then read it. Then you have the links to The Economist, the Financial Times. I give you my email, and I gave you the passwords. So you have access to those resources too. And then for those who are going on Thursday, the way that I set it up is your teams, right? Your teams are listed, and then the chapters are listed, and then the homeworks are right here, okay? And you got a Wiley Plus, you got the narrated PowerPoints. I'll help you present the PowerPoints. You're working in teams to share the PowerPoints. So basically, and you're going to work together on the homework assignments, and the solutions to the homeworks are up on the a website for you to check, and the solutions are also up there in Excel, and the homework problems are also laid out for you too. So again, plenty of resources. So if you get stuck, you can use all those resources, or you can come see me, okay? And I'll totally help you out. And the way that the course is set up is I totally, I front load the workload up to the first third of the class, because that's when you have a lot of energy. And then what I do is I taper it down. In the midterm shrinks, the homework problems shrink, and then for the final, the homeworks basically collapse. The take-home final, it's not even really a take-home final, it's just an in-class demonstration where you take notes and then insert it into the deliverable. So it's not even really a final, because what we do during the quiz and the midterm and the final is I will bring in cheesecake, and like pumpkin pie and stuff like that, or maybe you want something special, let me know, I'll bring something in. And the last day of the final class, I don't want to like bomb you with a 2-hour final where you come in, you're all stressed out, you're sweaty, you're pissed, and you leave just hating my guts. It's like, that's not going to happen. You're going to come in, we'll chill out for a half hour, I'll do like an hour lecture, review of the class, and I'll give you some tools and techniques to move forward academically and professionally. And then the last half hour, we'll just chill out and you'll go on your merry way, okay? And then that'll be it. Okay, and then make sure you watch the financial product innovation, design, and development. I'll go over this. But I was a finance guy, an econ major that moved into marketing and basically have been developing financial product for the last 10 years. So I moved into marketing. So I just took the finance and the econ background and the statistics, and I built financial products with my teams of programmers and my marketing people. And we went out and we sold the product to the institutional investors and the retail investors. That's really super fun to do. And if anybody's interested in working with me on any of my research projects or my business projects, I'm always looking for great people. Then the other one is the yield curve dynamics. This is really important because this is a finance class. You have learned yield curves in a nanosecond in your macro and a nanosecond in this class. But the yield curve is basically the underlying tools, the underlying foundation It's the underlying that prices all bonds, all stocks, all commodities, all derivatives, everything is priced off of the yield curve. And the yield curve movements up and down and flapping and shifting is determined by the Federal Reserve and central bank policy. And Jerome Powell, who now sits as the chair of the Open Market Commission that basically sets interest rates. And the yield curve, which you're going to learn, what I know from my research, is the yield curve has flattened, okay, significantly over the last year. And now the difference between the long-term interest rates and short-term interest rates is only 25 basis points. And the Fed came out, Jerome Powell said at Jackson Hole last week, that they are going to continue to raise short-term interest rates 2 to 3 more times at 25 basis point increments. So if there's only a 25 basis point spread between the long-term interest rates and the short-term interest rates within the next 6 months, the yield curve is going to invert. And when it inverts, the stock market peaks in less than 12 months, and we're in a recession in less than 24. It's been the #1 predictor of recessions going back 55 years. And you can even go back 150 years to before the Federal Reserve, and it still is the #1 predictor of recessions. So not only is it important to be able to forecast where we are in the business cycle and when the next recession is, but it's also important to be able to price the value of stocks, bonds, and particularly real estate. Okay? So we have to start with that. And then we just get into this mechanistic production path. Okay? I lecture, you lecture, we work on problems, I give you the solutions, I teach you my techniques, my thought processes, then we do the quiz, the midterm, and then I taper everything down for the final, and then you guys are already in teams, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna do an intrinsic valuation of Goldman Sachs, okay? We're gonna do a pitch book. Does anybody know what a pitch book is? Pitch book? Pitch book. Do you know what a pitch book is? Okay, a pitch book basically has a clear cover, it's printed in in color, it's got a black back, it's got a wire black spiral top to it, and basically you're using it as a pitch. So if I'm an accountant and I'm basically work for PwC and I want to pitch the auditing work at Salesforce, the team's going to go in and we're going to walk them through the pitch book and we're going to do a PowerPoint presentation. So we give them both. If I'm doing mergers and acquisitions between Salesforce and some startup company and I'm the underwriter of the firm for Salesforce, I'm going to do the pitch, use the pitch book to basically say this is the tech company that we want to buy and let me walk you through the economics for the acquisition. I can do it for mergers and acquisitions between 2 publicly traded companies. I'm the investment banker. I'm going to walk the senior management team and the senior management team of the company through the deck, through the pitch book, to walk them through why the 2 firms should be merged. I'll use the pitch book in a marketing campaign to pitch to the company, to pitch to my company, to pitch to the company we're doing the marketing campaign around a new product. We'll do the pitch book around an advertising campaign showing the return on investment from the advertising campaign. We use it in law to basically present our cases to our clients, and maybe in arbitration and negotiation to try to settle a case. We'll do the pitch through the pitch book. So it's a tool, the memos and the pitch books are the standardized tools that are used for business communications in finance and in everything. Okay? Whew. I'm exhausted. You guys wear me out. Okay, and then the last page is really just the grading strategy. Okay, so I'm available for you. Let me know how I can help you. Chapter 2 and 3 on Thursday. I'll start the exam stuff. 2, I'll walk you through the memos so you can get started on those. And if you have any comments or anything else, just let me know. I can help you. Okay? You're welcome. And don't forget to take a cookie.